Diplomatic relations between BRICS and NATO deteriorate over years of political maneuvering, economic sanctions, and military posturing. Both alliances increase their military presence in key regions. Russia and China lead the BRICS charge, while the US strengthens NATO ties, signaling the start of a new Cold War. World leaders exchange threats, but diplomacy teeters on a knife's edge. A sudden military clash erupts between NATO and Russian forces along the Eastern European border. What begins as a border skirmish escalates when Russia accuses NATO of covert operations in its territory. Moscow responds with missile strikes on NATO bases in Eastern Europe, triggering full-scale mobilization on both sides. With battle lines drawn, NATO countries mobilize their military forces, while BRICS nations prepare their own. Skirmishes spread beyond Europe, with naval and aerial confrontations taking place near Asia and the Arctic. Satellites capture images of massive troop movements and missile convoys, leaving the world on edge. In a shocking turn, a NATO radar system mistakes a missile test by North Korea as an imminent nuclear strike. In a panic, the US launches a limited counterstrike on North Korea, hitting several military installations. North Korea retaliates with a barrage of short-range missiles, escalating the conflict beyond containment. Russia responds to the chaos by launching a retaliatory nuclear strike on NATO military installations in Europe, believing it to be an orchestrated assault. The US retaliates by targeting Russian military sites with their own nukes. Massive explosions decimate major cities and military targets across Europe and Russia. The global infrastructure begins to collapse under the weight of the nuclear attacks. Power grids fail, communication networks go dark, and food supplies run low. Desperation and lawlessness spread as governments lose control over the masses. In the chaos, smaller countries begin taking sides, fearing annihilation if they remain neutral. Seizing the moment, North Korea launches its own nuclear arsenal in a bid to destroy US bases in the Pacific and assert dominance in Asia. South Korea and Japan brace for impact as warning sirens blare across their cities. This provokes a chain reaction, with BRICS allies engaging in full-scale nuclear warfare against remaining NATO strongholds. In a last-ditch effort to prevent total extinction, the world's leaders retreat to underground bunkers. Secret negotiations take place between the US, Russia, and China, but mistrust runs high. Outside, nuclear fallout spreads across continents, poisoning land and water. Hope for a peaceful resolution fades with each passing hour. With civilization on the brink of collapse, NATO and BRICS forces, led by the US and Russia, clash in one last epic battle on what remains of European soil. The war is no longer about power, it's about survival. The soldiers fight in radiation-scorched lands, using what's left of their advanced technology, while their nations crumble around them. After weeks of brutal combat and near total destruction, the war grinds to a halt. But the cost is unimaginable. The Earth is scarred by radiation, the skies are darkened by ash, and the survivors are few. Governments have collapsed, and the world enters a dark age of chaos and anarchy, with only scattered remnants of humanity struggling to survive.